So glad you're back with us on the Allon Exchange. Brad Johansson along with Jane Brittany Hagee, Allon Planning Partners. Nice to be back with you guys.
So good to be here this week, Brad.
I do that and they go, what the Are you guys spring cleaners? I'm going to ask you.
Okay.
I tipped a nerve.
Yes. So just recently we had a whole weekend planned where we were doing some spring cleaning,
goodness.
like exterior, like
You were excited about this.
I was really
weren't you?
excited.
he was thrilled.
Obviously.
He was thrilled. Pressure washing, kind of overhauling the garage, just a good freshening up,
Yeah,
right?
we need this.
Somebody decided to go get sick.
I mean, and it was actually sick. It wasn't I was trying to
I'll
avoid
give it to him. He was extremely sick. It wasn't
yeah.
like a little bug. He was very
Yeah, I
sick.
did. Well, okay.
Surprise.
I lost some weight.
He was
so that
very
was
sick.
good. So there was benefits to it. But yes, we like to keep things
was
tidy,
left to
but
do
she
the
is
spring
the
cleaning.
bigger, I've got order and everything's got a place. Sometimes I enjoy order, obviously, and things have to have their place, but I also need a little bit of
Do you
organized
really?
chaos. I need a little bit of organized chaos in order to maintain
attract
everything
there.
else that I've got going on in
That's
life.
right,
So,
yeah,
but yes,
opposites.
spring cleaning's a healthy
I lead into spring cleaning on this to say some of the things that happen during this, springtime that we try and figure it out is we change the batteries in our smoke alarms. At least that's what we're told to do. So that before something happens, we know that the smoke alarms are working. And you may test your fire extinguisher to see whether or not that happens before the fire. I want to take you into before the fire happens or some of the big surprises happen. Do we need to do a little financial spring cleaning here? And I guess we get into expect the unexpected, like the guy who gets sick on the weekend that you're supposed to clean this
was
whole thing out.
Conveniently got sick.
Do we have to plan? Because what we learned was set it and forget it. That was the idea. Just let your stuff grow, set it and forget it. We're good. Now as we move into this distribution phase, this retirement phase, we have to expect the unexpected. Why is that so crucial in understanding? Well, if I'm supposed to expect the unexpected, how am I supposed to put a plan together?
Yeah, well, you can't control everything in life, obviously, but you can be prepared for a lot, right? Great analogy, you don't want to go buy a fire extinguisher as your house is burning down, right? You want to make sure you have these things on hand. You want to make sure you're prepared. Our job, a lot of what we do in behavioral finance is to help people from making emotional decisions.
Yeah.
And the way you do that is you prepare, you plan ahead of time. You either are going to be reactive or proactive in your approaches. And so we want to keep people away from the emotional response, the panic, the oh my gosh, I didn't think this was going to hit. Let's just do a little bit of planning on the front end so that way you can actually live out the retirement years without the emotional responses.
I love that idea. So in prepping for this and laying this out, how do we begin in preparing for the unexpected?
It takes some intentionality, right? Avoidance of pain, obtaining pleasure. Something's got to motivate us to move. And we sat with a couple just this week. The pain point for them in wanting to move and actually take a look at all of this was the gentleman handled all of the finances in their household, and there were some health issues, and he was concerned about his wife. What's all this going to look like when I'm not here to take care of this, right? And so that was the trigger for them. Whatever the trigger is for you, don't delay it. Don't delay it, because the pain you experience on the other side of the delay will be much stronger than the pleasure you're experiencing in the now of the delay, right? There's a big, big difference there. So proactive versus reactive approach, that's what we see folks make.
I like the idea of that. And in that planning, we use the tools because Jane Brittany have put these together for you to make it easy, because the idea is this feels complicated. AllonQuiz.com helps to maybe create an idea of where am I at? Where do I need to be able to be prepared for this? So you can scan this QR code. You can go to AllonQuiz.com. So many of you have done this. I'm grateful that you're using the tools that are out there for you. Why do I need to prep earlier? When you say proactive rather than reactive, majority of people are reactive to even just approaching the retirement?
When it comes to your full financial plan, yes, because we've only been trained in a couple different ways. We've been trained to save. We've been trained to do a budget, which
Yeah.
a lot of people feel like that's putting handcuffs on. We don't want to do that. But so create a spending plan, and that's it. Really, any other emergency that comes up is a luxury if you have a flexible plan. But I want to flip that on its head. Having a flexible plan is not a luxury, it's a necessity. You need to make sure that you have the ability to be a little bit fluid in your movements because things are going to change. That's the one constant in life. Everything changes all the time. It used to was an old country song, I believe, that the one thing that remains the same is everything changes, right? And so we will see change. And so you have to have fluidity in your plan. You can have this same event happen with two different folks, one that is prepared and one that is not prepared, and the outcome is extremely different. You may have a healthcare event that makes you not be able to pay the bills because of you're not prepared for a influx of doctor visits or bills or things like this. But if you're prepared and you've prepared for that what if moment in your healthcare, you can sleep at night knowing that I've already got that covered.
Well, and think about it when it comes to where we are in our economy right now, where markets are, what's happening in our world.
Great place.
So much is happening.
Everything's certain right now.
Right. It breeds this fear and uncertainty. And so a plan that flexes with the economy is not a luxury today. It's a necessity. So you've got to build that flexibility in.
When you talk about that, for a lot of people that say, I've been watching, and thank you. A lot of you have been watching for a while, and eventually, because we know, you come into the office and you go, I've been watching for a while, I finally decided to call. Many of you are in that, I think I'll be fine. I'm going to watch, I'm going to keep paying attention because I think I'm going to be fine. That goes back to your behavioral finance, Jay, in that I feel okay right now. Now, 2026 has made people feel a little bit more uncertain because we get changes about every 6 minutes about what's going on in the world, right?
Every news cycle is different.
So how do we start, should that be pushing us towards, do you see this feeling? And the emotional decisions that you're going to make with your money right now, this is why we want to have a plan together that puts all the 5 pillars together to figure it out.
Build a firm foundation.
Yeah.
Because we can weather any storm if the foundation's strong enough. I believe it was said well by Jesus, is like you're going to either build your house on the rock or build your house on the sand, right? One of the two is going to happen. And so if you build on the sand and don't have flexibility and have a plan that is going to be strong through the storms of life, you're going to feel that experience. That's an experience you're going to have, and your house is going to shake. If you're built on the rock, and you have a strong foundation, which is why we go through all 5 pillars of this financial plan, not just the sand of, well, my investment strategy looks okay, my portfolio looks big enough. That's not good enough. That is still quicksand. We want the rock. We want income planning, tax planning, estate planning, healthcare planning, a great investment strategy. You have to build your house, you have to build your financial house on a rock, on a firm foundation, and that's what we help people do. You may not know what a healthy foundation looks like. You may be listening and say, well, I've listened to a lot of these shows and I don't know, I got a portfolio. I know I got $1 million in my 401k. That's a great place to start.
Right.
Go to allonquiz.com and let's talk about those other pieces of the foundation that actually can put you on the rock and not in the sand.
And maybe to wrap up the conversation, I'll give you an illustration. This is a family we have had as clients for probably 3 or 4 years. Recently, the husband passed away. We had done full planning with them the years prior. The spouse came in, we sat down with her just about a month and a half ago, and we're walking through all the throes of everything. This is a situation where she was in emotional turmoil, right? She had just unexpectedly lost her spouse. But in the emotional complexity of her situation, one thing she did not have to deal with was her financial situation.
That's right.
She had planned ahead of time. She didn't have to move out of her house. Her income was stable and continued to work for her. Her investments were positioned as they should be for where she was.
That's right.
Everything was in place. There were some tweaks we had to make, but those had been planned for. Those had been prepared for. And she walked in that day. We helped her kind of process through, listen to what she was feeling and experiencing. But at the end of the conversation, there was so much peace because the stress of the financial component was non-existent. That she had done the work up front. She had put the batteries in before she needed the smoke detector to go off.
That's right.
She was prepared for the moment.
This is what the quiz helps do. It reminds me of the 4 C's, because what Brittany's talking about is finding clarity. And when you had that clarity, it produces the confidence to feel like you actually now have a little bit of control over where things move. And then that provides the comfort. So if you have not taken the quiz, please do that now. And then if you've been thinking about this, now's the time to call. And you call for a written financial plan. How much is that going to cost me? It is complimentary, so that we give you that clarity to produce the confidence, so that you feel control and there is comfort behind the plan. And there's a sigh of relief. Make the call to the number on your screen so we can put a plan together that is yours and yours alone. Let's change the batteries. We'll be right back.
Are you actually ready for retirement or just hoping everything works out?
At Allon Planning Partners, we've created a quick and powerful retirement readiness quiz to help you find out. It takes just a few minutes and you'll get a personalized score showing how prepared you are in key areas like income, taxes, investments, healthcare, and legacy planning.
It's free, it's simple, and it could give you the clarity and confidence that you've been missing. Don't leave your future to chance.
Take the quiz today at allonquiz.com and get a clear picture of where you stand and where you need to go.
Are you retirement ready?
Glad you're with us. Brad Johansson along with Jay and Brittany Hagee, Allon Planning Partners. Thanks for spending time with us. Brittany always says that this is your greatest asset. So if you're spending time with us, we're grateful for that time. Now do something for yourself. We want you to come into the office, putting together a plan. When I say most of the time when you're doing the accumulation phase, right? What we were taught was set it and forget it.
That's right.
Don't worry about it because we got a lot of years. You got a lot of time. Now the time has changed. This plan is anything but, can I say, anything but a set it and forget it plan, because this has to be flexible because of how life changes as we're entering this road.
Yeah,
right?
and we're seeing changes every day. And I think you said it well before the break last time. It talked about planning bringing clarity.
Yeah.
And planning absolutely will bring clarity, which brings confidence, right? And so the planning that we do doesn't take away all the pain of life. Life is going to be hitting you with
can't
some
avoid it
ins
all,
and outs and
right?
pains. You're going to take some shots,
Yeah.
right? But what planning does is removes the chaos out of the pain. Because if I've got to deal, it's a 1-2 punch, right? If I've got to deal with the pain that life brings, and now I don't have a plan, so now I've got to deal with the chaos that the lack of planning brings, I'm maybe knocked out, right? But I can take a punch if I know I have the right defense, right? And so I have the clarity that brings confidence that even when life brings me pain, I don't have to run in chaos, that I can run in clarity. And that's what we want to help with. And so there are a lot of uncertain times right now. We're seeing every news cycle brings up something different that I have to worry about, right? Or that we feel like that we have to worry about. News sells fear. What we're trying to do is sell peace. We're trying to sell clarity. We're trying to let you know that there is a different alternative than just being tossed in the wind, right? You can plan ahead. You can put the batteries in the smoke alarms before the fire comes. We can do these small steps that make a huge difference. And we start with looking at under your hood of your portfolio in your investment management. We make sure that your allocation strategy doesn't look like it has for the last 30 years, because we have to have a flexible plan now. We have to have a distribution strategy in that portfolio. And then we go through all 5 pillars of the financial plan to make sure that you have the clarity you need to move forward no matter what life throws at you.
And the best retirement plans aren't rigid. They're responsive. Because the one thing you can count on is your plan not going according to plan. Right? Change is inevitable. We're
We've said
going
it.
to face that. So if we know that is just a fact of life. We're going to get the blows. We're going to
That's
get the
right.
punches. How do we best prepare for those and prepare in a way to where we can respond instead of having to be forced to react? Because when we react, we're emotional. When we respond, it's more intentional. We want to set the stage for folks when they are hit with the punch, the unexpected life event, good or bad. Maybe you get married, maybe you lose a spouse. Whatever it is, good or bad, that you have the next play, that you have the next
Well,
piece.
I had a client last month that came in, and he's been retired for over a year now. And so things have been smooth and going along just fine. Well, his HVAC went out. And then he had to get a new roof put on in the same month. And so we're sitting there, and he's not panicked because we've prepared for this. You know, we have emergency funds. We have ways that we're going to cover these things that's not going to blow up his tax plan. And so the problem didn't go away for him. He still had to have new air conditioning. He still had to put the roof on. But the pressure of, oh my gosh, I'm going to ruin my retirement plan, or I'm going to have to pay Uncle Sam tons of more money, went away. The pressure went away because we had prepared for what if scenarios. And so we do run these stress tests with every client that we meet with. If you sit down with us, not only in your portfolio, but your income and your tax plans, we're going to run stress tests. We're going to run what if scenarios. We can't obviously have a crystal ball and prepare for everything, but the things that we know about, thousands of people that we've met with over the last few decades, we can absolutely put the wisdom into your plan to make sure that we are prepared for the things that could go wrong.
And us as women have to prepare even more so than our male counterparts. So ladies, we got some work to do. We've got some preparation to do. Average age of widowhood is 59 years old.
It's ridiculous.
Wow.
We are more prone to need long-term care and health care. Because good news is we're living longer. Bad news is that can bring some real medical issues,
No
right?
question.
And so we have more to plan for. But the good news is this is our time to plan. We can choose to proactively take care of those things.
That's right.
So that when we get in those moments, we're not reacting with emotions and panic, to your point, chaos, right? But there's peace and there's ease. Okay, I got this blow, I got this punch I wasn't expecting, but here's my next play. I have prepared for this moment.
This is what you are talking about for a lot of couples, in that one does the finance, the other comes along. I don't really know, but I'm supposed to be here. And you say to that point, the money's going to end up in the woman's hands
At some
most
point.
of the time at some
At some
point.
point.
So understanding, even if you're not controlling, understanding with clarity where this is going is what you
Exactly
do all
right.
the time, correct?
Yeah, 95% of women will at some point be the sole financial decision maker of their household. If you haven't been before, you will be one day. 95% chance. So let's step up if you haven't already. Now we see it opposite
Flip-flop all
too,
the
right?
time.
There's a lot of women who manage that within their household.
That's right.
And the guys are like, I don't care. It doesn't matter. Either way, we all have got to step up and be prepared in these moments.
Is it time for you to step up? The idea is let's put a plan together. So call the number on your screen so that we can put that complimentary written financial plan together for you in preparation to create the clarity and the comfort that you've been looking for. Let's try to figure out how to make this happen before the other stuff happens. The surprises will come. Let's take the surprise out of this one by putting a plan together. Make the call. Do it now for yourself. Let's put that plan together and see if we can kind of not be reactive. We're going to be proactive at this time. We'll be right back.
Well, about almost 10 years ago now, Brittany and I came to the realization that the position that we were in, we wanted to expand what we were doing. We were in full-time ministry. And so I realized as I was counseling people a lot, it had a lot to do with finance.
Because finances are a touchy subject. It can be challenging, and that's what we want to do. Help people prepare for those unexpecteds.
I had a friend at the time who was in the industry and ran an RIA and decided to, take a sneak peek into what he was doing, and really, loved the model of being able to be independent and fiduciary in our advice and the way that we help people.
And when we decided to begin our own independent firm, we knew there's a better way. There's just a better way to do this. It's beyond transactional interaction. It's this relational component that we knew we want to have. And I believe that each individual and family has to find the right fit for them.
And I think most people that walk in here are looking for that unique touch. Like, independently, how can we help your family succeed?
Glad you're with us on the Allon Exchange. Brad Johansson along with Jane Brittany Hagee. We're kind of trying to minimize the surprises, and yet we can only do so much. It is a transition, guys. When we talk about life transition, this is a big deal emotionally, from doing what you've been doing forever to now, okay, what am I going to do? And then the other things hit on the surprise end of what we're doing. And we try, give me an idea as we plan for life transition and why that's so significant.
Well, because some of the biggest financial disruptions that we see aren't from the markets. They're from life changes that you talked about. They're from, I'm ready to retire and my spouse isn't ready for me to retire. We see this all the time.
Yeah.
I mean, a couple months back, I remember there was a couple we had in, and the gentleman was ready to retire. I'm ready to go fishing every day, or whatever it may be he was doing. And she's not ready for him to retire because she was afraid we don't have enough money. So where he saw freedom, she saw fear. And so she's like, to Brittany's point, I'm probably going to outlive you statistically, and I don't feel like I've got enough to live on, and you're ready to retire today, and we're not growing our accounts anymore. And so that's a financial disruption, but it's also an emotional disruption. And that's where a lot of couples hit, the bricks with each other in that. So we helped them align some things and realize that timing did matter in those scenarios. So we were able to show, here's what your income plan would look like. Here's what your portfolio plan needs to look like. Here's what your tax plan looks like, your estate plan. And by the time we got to that end of that conversation, it took her fear level down some, because it was really about the unknown to her. She didn't know. She just knew we got a bucket of money and I don't think that's enough to live on, right? But when we put all these pieces together in a plan, it can bring peace and clarity to bring confidence to say, wow, I don't have to be afraid, and that's what we help do. That's what we help bring peace.
And part of that transition is also determining, how am I going to spend my time?
Oh yeah, it's a big one.
Because how you're going to spend your time, you better believe it's going to impact your dollars, right? Your financial situation. If you want to travel versus if you want to sit in your backyard all day and enjoy the view or whatever it is, right? It's going to look very different. If you want to take your grandkids on trips, versus remodeling your home or whatever it is, you have to determine what that looks like and what resources you will need. And that's another scenario where we often see couples maybe not seeing eye to eye. So encouraging you to have those conversations early and often about, what is that phase going to look like, so that we can kind of dream together, plan together towards that, and then build the financial picture around the vision that we want to have for that stage of life.
And we've talked real heavy today on the challenges, right? There's challenges we're going to face. Life's going to throw punches. There's also opportunities, right? There's also things that are going to come along that may be like, maybe I change my job and it's a better position for me. Maybe I go to part-time instead of full-time and I can kind of half retire right now, right? There are opportunities that are in front of us that we have to understand our complete plan for, that will actually be a benefit to us, not so much, well, the markets just went down and we're in war or whatever it may be going on and everything just changes. There's negatives, but there's also positive opportunities out there that do change everything, that you need to shift your plan when those opportunities come along, and that's what we want to help with as well.
If we get into that and what you're talking, you began the segment by saying, he's here, she's here, very opposite places. And you can't have one do, hey, you do your plan and do the other.
That's right.
I think about Social Security on this, where many couples fail to plan together because they're doing this thing in a silo. Go ahead and you turn on yours whenever you want to turn yours on, and you go ahead and turn yours on whenever. And failing to strategize on this can create a major income problem, not just here, but 20 years down the road.
Yeah, because decisions you're making now aren't just for now, right? Wanting to turn income on now isn't just impacting you in the today. It's impacting where you will be 5, 10, 15, 20 years down the road, when one of the two, especially for married couples to your point, if you have two spouses and two Social Security checks, when a spouse passes away, the lesser of the two Social Security checks goes away. So this is part of the whole income planning conversation. We talked about creating multiple streams of income. Social Security is a piece of that, and ensuring that decisions you're making now on filing and timing and all of that works not just for today, but works down the road when one spouse may be left, women, us, holding the bag of, okay, how am I going to live on what I've got, right? So looking at the long-term play, not just the what feels good now. Yeah, it feels good to get some more income rolling in, but how is this going to play out in my later years, and when I am left without a spouse, what's that going to look
Which
like?
also impacts your tax strategy that you have to use all of the time
Oh,
now.
absolutely. And what I say all the time is change is inevitable, but your growth is optional. Like whether you determine I'm going to grow in this moment, whether I'm going to be reactive or proactive, that's optional. Whether you're going to come in and plan with someone like us or whether you're not, that's optional. But changes will happen. You need to be prepared. That's really what the bulk of what we wanted to get out there today is that change is inevitable, but we want to help you grow through it to where you don't have to have the sleepless nights and you don't have to live in fear, but you can live in confidence knowing that your financial plan has some security to it. And that security is, I have a multifaceted plan. I don't just have a bucket of money that I hope doesn't run out. Hope is not a strategy, my friend. We cannot continue down that path to say, I've got this amount of money that makes me feel confident. Life changes. Inflation can hit hard. We're probably in 20-some% inflation rates. The government likes to hide how much inflation we actually have. But is that bucket of money going to last you for 30 years? Don't let that be your only point of confidence. Have a multifaceted plan that we know we're going to get income that is guaranteed. We're going to get tax. No matter what happens to the tax laws, you're going to have buckets that you can be prepared to take from. We're going to have an estate plan that is security for you and for your loved ones to come. And we're going to have a healthcare plan that even if I have something happen to my physical body and I need help, I'm going to have the finances to cover it. That's what we want to put together for you, and that's why we want you to call us today.
Yeah, we began the program with the idea of spring cleaning. This is your financial spring cleaning, and this is your opportunity to step out and say, all right, I'm finally going to do this. One day I said I was going to do this. Well, today is day one. Make the call right now. Let's put together your complimentary written financial plan and clean this whole thing up so you know it's going to last till your last breath. Thanks for your time here. Can't wait to see you in the office and right back here next time on the Allon Exchange.